All right, Gibbs, you ready to start?
No, I'm not ready.
No?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Pack it up.
Pack it up.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
So our first ever Patreon only video. A little scary.
Outside of the Q&A.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, that was kind of easy, rambling.
Yeah.
You know, this is a full case.
This is an episode.
Yeah, this is a full episode. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think I want to start off talking about my news story.
Okay.
It's a special news story.
Yeah.
I took my daughter to college last week. You know this.
Oh, yeah.
Or you knew I was going to. I haven't really talked to you much since, but it was a traumatic experience. I'll say that.
Always is.
I knew it was going to be very tough.
Yeah.
You know, I had this thing built up. You know, my wife and I didn't really sleep much the night before. We didn't sleep the night after or the night of either. So we get down there. Man, it's a madhouse.
Oh, move-in day.
You know, everybody's moving in, and but they got it down kind of like to somewhat of a science. They're
Yeah.
directing people all over. You know, you pull off to the side once you get done standing in line or waiting in line in your car, and you have to unload all your stuff. And you essentially sit it on the sidewalk.
Right.
So there's all of these people standing around with all their junk on the sidewalk.
It's like going to the airport.
Kinda. So my wife and daughter are standing there with all her stuff. I have to then go find a parking garage and then hoof it all the way back
Of course.
to help carry the stuff inside.
Yeah.
And it was hot. I'm telling you. Oh, and then my wife, she bought a bunch of stuff that you have to put together.
Oh.
So I'm literally in this dorm room, which is super small, right? It's a
Sure.
2-person dorm room. My daughter and her roommate, they have like raised, almost like a bunk bed, not quite as high, but with room underneath. So you
Just
can put stuff on.
Like a desk or something? Or
No, not a
no,
desk,
just
but
for storage.
storage.
Yeah.
So my wife bought all of this stuff that these boxes of things that have to be put together.
Right.
I don't have a drill.
Oh.
So I am on my hands and knees for like 3 hours
Oh, it's nice.
I don't have a screwdriver either, by
Oh.
the way. What I have is my Leatherman tool that
Yeah.
has a screwdriver on it.
There you go, man. Leatherman.
It was a rough 3 hours. I'm dripping sweat.
Did she not warn you ahead of time? Hey, you need your drill?
She said something about it, but what she said that she had didn't sound all that involved.
You thought I got this.
Yeah, well, it turns out it's that furniture that you have to put the dowel rods, put everything
Yeah.
together, and then it's got, it's not the screw. I like the ones where it's a little round piece,
Yeah.
something fits in it, and then you just make like a half a turn.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
you
Where you lock it in.
Yeah, this was not. This had full blown wood screws,
Yeah.
like 30 of them.
Yeah.
So
Why you didn't just go around the corner and buy a drill, man?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
They have this little target. It is about the size of like a small dollar store, Dollar
Yeah.
General. It's a real cute little Target, and they just sell like dorm stuff.
Oh.
They have like a whole aisle full of ramen noodles. So if you like ramen noodles,
That's what kids eat, man.
oh, my daughter eats ramen noodles
Yeah.
before she ever went to college. That's all she eats. So that was my story. I held it together pretty well.
Good.
My wife was bawling as we're leaving.
Yeah.
I didn't want to cry. I kept telling myself, there's all these parents, there's these kids. I don't know who these people are.
Right.
So we walk out of the dorm room. We get to the parking garage. I held it together till we got on the highway. And then it was like
Niagara?
bawled the whole way home.
Really?
Yeah.
Because your little girl is...
Yeah. And then I had this strange feeling or this thought about, we do all this research. There are hundreds and thousands, however many people
Yeah.
that have lost their children.
Sure.
I mean, for good, lost them. They died.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken over dropping my daughter off at college and then coming home like 45 minutes away,
Right.
and she wasn't here. And I knew I wouldn't see her for a while.
Yeah.
Heartbroken. And then I started thinking, imagine what these parents go through
Oh, every day.
take that feeling and multiply it by 1,000,000.
Yeah. They
They
can't get in the car and go check on her.
And they know in 2 weeks their son or daughter's not coming home to visit. It will never happen. So that flashed through my mind, and I was like, oh my gosh, man. I was really feeling bad.
Small little taste of what
it's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And so it really is hard to imagine. We say that a lot, but unless somebody's lived through it, and hopefully, most listeners have not.
Right.
I don't know. It takes some kind of strength to deal with that for sure.
I don't know how people do it.
We got Patreon shout outs.
Yeah.
You want to do that before we get into the episode?
Sure.
We had Trent Card.
Hey, Trent.
Annette Quisenberry.
Quisenberry.
That's what I'm going with.
Is that like a character off of the Thornberries?
What is the Thornberries?
The wild Thornberries?
What is the wild Thornberries?
Watched that
is
with
that
your kids?
different than the regular Thornberries?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. It's like a Nickelodeon kid show, man. Back in the day.
I watched SpongeBob, and that's it.
We got grown people watch SpongeBob.
Yeah, I love SpongeBob.
Yeah, they just sit there and watch it. And
now I don't watch it without my kids. I watch Family Guy.
Oh no, there's people that watch SpongeBob without their kids.
I watch Family Guy without my kids.
And they say SpongeBob has an answer for everything in life. Watch SpongeBob, you get the answer for everything in life.
All I know is whoever came up with SpongeBob made a boatload of money. Because that show has been on for a long time.
Yeah.
Same with the Simpsons. They've made a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that does Family Guy, he's made a ton of money.
Yeah. I'm going to do a cartoon.
Are you?
Yeah.
You going to call it the Thornberries or the Wild Thornberries? Or just pick a name and add Wild in front of it? Add Wild in front of it. Mm-hmm. We had Ricky Howarth.
Hey, Ricky.
Bianca Collins.
Hey, Bianca.
Tawny Reese.
Really? Mm-hmm. Tawny Reese.
Robert Haynes.
Hey, Robert.
Beth Fairbanks.
Oh, I like Fairbanks. That's a cool name.
You like that?
It's like an old school name.
It is.
Like acting name.
Because there was an actor.
Actually, there
named
was.
Fairbanks.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
We had Sharon Perham.
Perham?
Perham.
Perham?
Or Perham.
What's up, Perham?
I don't know. Either one.
I think it's Perham.
Brittany Dayton.
Right here in Dayton, Brittany.
Heather Leeming. Leeming.
Yeah. Or like the wild animal.
That's a lemming, isn't it? Or a lemur. I think
it could be a lemming, depending on where you're from.
I think you're crossing your... It's a wild. You have to put like wild in front of it.
I'm doing like a Dr. Moray, crossing animals up or whatever. Is that wrong?
I don't know. Like the island of Dr. Moreau. Is that who you're talking about?
That's it, right there.
Did you say moray?
I think I did.
Like a moray eel?
Maybe.
You have crisscrossed and hybridized a bunch of different animals / fictional people.
I might have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We had Marianne Ray McCready.
McCready.
Yep. Jumped out to our highest level.
Thank you.
Stacy B.
Thanks, Stacy B. I just do that because...
Looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Sally Singleton jumped out at our highest level.
Really? Singleton. I like that. Thanks, Sally.
We had Linda Fritz.
Hey, Linda.
Nate Jelta.
What's up, Nate?
Shay Faulkner jumped up to our highest level.
Careful with that one.
Faulkner.
Is that way too fast?
Yeah, it's Faulkner.
All right. Get the Faulkner out of here.
Fockers. Rob.
Just Rob?
Just Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Jennifer Warnke.
Warnke.
Mm-hmm.
She's Warnke.
Lorraine Orr.
Hey, Lorraine.
Latisse Colbert.
Hey, Latisse.
Flufel.
Flufla?
Flufel.
Flufel?
Yeah.
Okay, Flufel.
I don't know what that means. Jennifer West.
Hey, Jennifer.
Debbie Morse.
What's up, Debbie?
Crystal Livingston.
Crystal Livingston.
Mm-hmm. Rebecca Hutton.
Hey, Rebecca.
Kim. Julia Neely.
Some people are like, he just repeats what Mike just says.
Yeah, he does. Everybody says that.
Thanks, Neely.
Laurel.
Hey, Laurel.
Amy K.
Ooh, Amy K. What's up?
Jill Evans.
Thanks, Jill.
Eva Baker.
Hey, Eva.
Christina Lee.
Thank you, Christina.
Sam Town.
Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Craig and Heather Denton.
The Dentons are in the house?
The Dentons are in the house. Sydney Rosemore.
Hey, Sydney.
Lisa Auk.
Hey, thanks, Lisa.
Wendy Wyatt.
Wendy, how are you?
Jillian Teropoulos.
Teropoulos?
That's what I'm going with.
Is that like in the Oh, that's Superman Metropolis.
That's Metropolis. That's the island of Dr. Moray.
I almost went too far. I see I pulled myself back. I realized I was going to make a mistake.
You did. And that's not like you. You're not good at putting the brakes on.
No.
Once the thought train leaves the station,
It's out.
there's no coming back, usually.
Most likely, you're right.
We had Sherry Semino,
Hey, Semino.
Casera Rhodey,
Wrote like
or Road. I'm not sure.
is it spelled like these things here?
No, it's got an H in it. Like that, but with an H in the middle.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Rhodey.
I think it might be Rhodey. Nikki Ross,
Hey, Nikki.
Adrian Outlaw.
He's an outlaw.
Why would you assume it's a he?
Say the name again.
Adrian Outlaw.
Yo, you're right. Could
Yo,
be.
Adrian
Yo,
was
Adrian.
a woman. And I don't know if this is a male or female, but
Well,
you are making an assumption.
he or she is a outlaw.
Exactly. Michael McAvoy,
Hey, Michael.
Yvette Duval,
Ooh, Duval.
Karen Wilson,
Hey, Karen.
Lillian Lynn.
That's it?
What do you mean is that it? That's a person's name.
Lillian Lynn.
Is that not
I thought
enough for
it
you?
felt like there was going to be more.
Are you not entertained?
I just felt like you were holding, like you were getting ready to say,
Like I was stopping and then I was
Yeah.
going to finish the name later at some point?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
I just did a weird wave again.
Yeah, you do that now then.
I don't know why I do that.
Yeah.
Kate Jakubiak.
Ooh, look, you be Chakurawa.
That wasn't close. Lucy Taylor,
Hey, Lucy.
Jennifer Cook,
Hey, thanks, Jennifer.
and Yvonne Byrne.
Yvonne.
That's a lot of names when you read both episodes all together.
Yeah,
Seems like a lot.
wore me out.
And then if we go back into the vault, Gibbs,
Okay.
this week we selected Donna Rubba.
Rubba?
Yep.
Hubba Bubba Rubba?
Hubba Bubba Rubba. She's been with us a long time.
Thanks, Donna.
Much appreciated, right?
Yeah.
We love all of our Patreon folks, the new people, the folks that continue to support us. It's why we want to do stuff like this.
Why we're
Try something new.
on camera.
Exactly.
And we're not camera people.
We're not camera ready. I said that before, but we go with it anyway.
Get what you get, folks.
All right, man. What am I missing? Are you ready to get into this thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
it's going to be a good one.
No, I am excited for it. We're talking about David Lamar Anthony. And so I was really looking for a case that nobody's covered, that you couldn't find a lot of information about, specifically for our Patreon people. So I don't think that any other podcast has done this. I did a quick search. That sometimes doesn't work exactly right, but we're going out to the Phoenix area for this one.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I like Phoenix.
I do too.
Been there a few times. Camelback Mountain. Love
Why do you think so many people like to retire in Phoenix? Weather?
weather. Yeah.
Golf? There's a lot of golf.
But if you're into golfing,
Yeah.
you know,
Which I know you are. You and Tiger and some of those
Close.
guys hang out
we're close.
very close.
Yeah. I also like the Scorpions.
Weren't you there? Weren't you the first one that Tiger called after Elon smashed up his car with the golf club?
Yeah, he wanted some tips.
You had to go out and try to smooth things over. It didn't work, but
No, but I helped him get his stuff out of the house.
that's a good friend, man.
I did tell him he was wrong. What he did was wrong.
It was wrong, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So this is somewhat of a strange case. There is not a lot of information out there, and that's usually what you get, right? Because
Right.
when you pick a case that nobody else has done, that's kind of really under the radar, well, sometimes there's a reason for that. There's not a ton of info.
Right.
But again, I wanted to give the Patreon folks something that most likely they've never heard anywhere else.
Some panache.
Well, we'll put some panache on it.
Okay.
I'll get you some pistachios later too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I know you get hungry.
I do.
So, like I said, there's good and bad in that. The good is most people probably never heard of it. The bad is sometimes it's a bear to research because it's just not one of those cases where we have every little bit of the perpetrator's life.
Right.
It's not been dissected by every paper and things like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So, family life, background, we're not going to have a lot of that like we do with most killers. The good news is there's quite a few court documents related to this case because, Anthony appealed a number of times. So what you get is a bunch of filings that are accessible.
We love court docs.
Yeah, we do. But I definitely found this case fascinating, right? Now, that's not a guarantee that everybody else will, but you got to go with your gut.
Go with your gut, man.
So like I said, not a heavy background case at all. I know David Anthony was born in 1948.
Okay.
I don't even really know where he was born. That's how little background there's going to be. You know, I don't know if he had a domineering mother. I don't know if he showed violence against animals as a young child.
Right.
I don't know how many times he got hit on the head, if at all.
Just don't know.
I just don't know.
Okay.
He could have had a steel girder fall on his head, for all I know. But he's also not a serial killer. This is a one-off type of murder.
Right.
You know, what I do know was that he was married and had 2 children with his first wife. And he did have a criminal background. You know, in 1975, he was accused of shooting a calf on a neighbor's ranch.
Yeah.
And from what he said, it was so that he could feed his family.
Oh.
So he essentially went on a neighbor's ranch, found a little calf, shot it, ate it, and served it to his family.
Don't we call that veal?
Is that what that is?
I think we call that veal today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't eat veal. So
I don't either.
I don't know.
I don't want to eat baby cow.
You're right. That's what it is. I just don't eat it.
Yeah.
So Gibbs, he later got a year probation after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit grand theft auto. I'm not sure what that is. Is that when you think about stealing a car, you're planning on stealing a car, but you don't actually steal the car?
Yeah, I don't know.
Conspiracy to commit. You helped in the planning of it, but you didn't actually steal it yourself. I was a little confused on that.
I guess they had enough evidence to say that he had his hand in far enough, I guess.
He had his hand in far enough.
Yeah.
All right. Did you just go see your doctor or something?
Yeah. He had his hand in far enough.
You got that on the brain or what?
Yeah, his hand wasn't definitely far enough.
Anthony was involved in a dispute with his neighbor in 1984. This was when he was still married to his first wife. So what happened was he apparently threw a rock through his neighbor's window as this dispute started to escalate.
Yeah.
And I guess it got out of hand to the point where the police were called out and Anthony ended up barricading himself in his house with his wife and his 2 kids. As you would do, right, Gibbs?
You would think.
You know, you get in a fight with your neighbor, decide that you're going to take your ball and go home. Well, that's what you do when you're 8 years old. You don't do that when you're in your 30s. This guy was in his 30s with a wife and young kids who decided to take his ball and go home.
Acting like a little kid, man.
He was.
Spoiled.
But he didn't leave it there. At some point, he thought, you know what? I'll show my neighbor. I'll throw a rock through his window. That will teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
It's pretty grown up. You got to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Grown up.
Now, what I will say is that's a very interesting call to your insurance agent. Sam, I got a broken window.
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen, Tom? Well, my grown-ass neighbor just threw a rock through my window. And now he's barricaded himself in his house and he's having a standoff with police.
I'm kind of picturing one of those farmers insurance commercials where the guy says, "We've seen that."
I love those commercials, man. I get a kick out of them. It's like the 1997 Hot Wheel stuck in a guy's ass.
Yeah.
Incident. Well, we saw that. We covered that.
Yeah.
We were there.
It's not new to us.
They're like coming up with the weirdest things they can find.
There's good stuff out there for sure. I can't think of which one's my favorite, but
they got some really funny ones.
They're never boring.
Plus, I like that guy. I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of good movies.
He always plays, he was in Spider-Man. That was
Did you
his.
just go
I did.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's what got him kicked off, I think.
So apparently this standoff lasted 10 hours. It was no joke, right? And there were times during the 10 hours where Anthony had some handguns, he had a shotgun, he was pointing them at police and threatening them.
Man.
It's a good way to get yourself killed, not to mention the fact that your wife and kids are locked in the house with you
Right.
by your own hand, not by their choice.
No, you're his own doing.
But definitely no joke. So he spent a little time in prison or jail for that. I didn't really find a lot about what happened to him as a result of this standoff. He didn't hurt anybody, but you can't just point guns at the police and not have something happen.
Yeah, I mean, he incited.
I think the big thing to come out of it was that his first wife divorced him sometime, after that incident. It's not the type of thing, Gibbs, that a lot of marriages would probably make it through.
I was going to say, I don't know why anybody would hang around.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no reason once you've seen what your husband is capable of. It's probably time to get out.
It's one thing to say, did you guys work through that fidelity? It's another thing to say, did you work through the standoff? when he threatened to
Where
kill?
he used your 9-year-old son as a shield. I don't know if he did that.
You were able to get through that? Okay.
So his wife divorces him, takes their 2 children. But David Anthony would find love again. You and I do so many episodes talking about people that, and these are sometimes very heinous murderers who seemingly have no problem finding a date. They go from one woman to the next.
Amazingly.
Yeah.
I mean.
And they're not even good looking dudes.
No, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what's.
I mean, you see the pictures of some of these people, they look like murderers. So unless you're attracted to murderers, maybe there's just a population that are attracted to scary looking dudes.
Maybe it's just the bad boy thing.
Could be. But this isn't bad boy, I drive a Harley. This isn't bad boy, I like to go mountain climbing. This is a bad boy, I hurt people, and I may kill you too.
Maybe. I'll let you know.
We'll see how
you wake
it goes.
up in the morning alive, you made it through the night.
So he met a woman named Donna, and the two got married in 1997. Donna had been previously married to a man named Samuel Romero. She had 2 children with Samuel. So she brought these 2 children with her into the marriage with David Anthony.
That's always tough.
It's very tough.
It's going to be tough on her because she's got to trust somebody to be around her kids. It's tough on the kids, of course. And then it's tough on him. I mean, he's got to be able to play a role, but not overstep his role.
Well, my parents are divorced, so I had a stepdad growing up. We didn't always see eye to eye. When I was younger, I thought, who in the hell is this guy who's not my dad trying to tell me what to do, trying to dole out punishment when, I wasn't doing the right thing.
Right.
Now, as an adult, I look back on it and I know that he was just trying to do what he thought was right. He was trying his best to help guide me, right? To become a man. He did a pretty good job.
Sure.
Not tooting my own horn, but no, he did a good job as a stepdad. But try to get a 9-year-old or even a teenager to see it that way, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're not going to be on board right away, I don't think.
No, I think being a stepdad can be very difficult. I like I said, I know I didn't fully appreciate what my stepdad did for me until I was an adult.
Yeah.
But now Anthony is going to be a stepdad. His new wife, Donna, had a boy and a girl. So the girl's name was Danielle. She was born in 1987.
Okay.
So she would have been around 10 years old at the time they got married. Her son, Richard, was born in 1988. So he'd have been about 9.
That sounds about right.
They came, pretty close together. So this year that David and Donna were married, 1997, was also a year, Gibbs, in which David was accused by a woman out in California of kidnapping and other related crimes.
Oh, okay.
So this was reported in the Arizona Republic newspaper. I couldn't figure out if this was alleged to have occurred before or after David and Donna got married. I couldn't figure that part out, but my thought is that at the very least they were dating, if not already married.
Yeah, so she had to know about it.
Well, Anthony went to trial on these charges in 1998. So nothing like starting off your marriage knowing your husband is accused of this, heinous kidnapping and probably sexual crimes.
It's like, hey, honey, are we going to take a honeymoon? You're like, well, I got this one trial thing I haven't told you about.
I got to take care of that.
Once I take care of that, maybe we're going on a honeymoon.
Or you can come with me.
Yeah.
And we'll just call it the honeymoon.
Yeah. There are a few things I need to tell you first, though.
Yeah. The case against Anthony was eventually thrown out. But there's no doubt, very strange circumstance to begin a marriage for sure. I mean, starting out when you're first married, it's tough enough. I don't think this was ever really a marriage anyway. It was a marriage and probably certificate only.
Probably, yeah.
It was alleged that David was unfaithful to Donna from the very beginning. The couple fought all the time. They fought about money. I think that was the big one.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people, especially newlyweds, even people that have been married 5, 10, 15 years, fight about money. It's a big driver.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Struggle on power. Like who controls it.
It can be. And then if you don't have enough, then it's constant stress.
Yeah. And you normally tend to have a saver and a spender.
Yeah.
And they don't see eye to eye. The worst thing is if you have two spenders.
Well,
my
wife and I used to be that yin yang.
Yeah.
Now, over the last 5, 10 years, my wife has started enjoying spending a little bit more than she used to.
Yeah.
I blame Amazon, various shoe stores,
so
overstock.com.
Just in your wife's
defense, you're defending my wife.
I'm pretty sure that you get 2 or 3 Amazon deliveries a day here sometimes for just you.
I do. Now, a lot of that is business related. It's podcast related.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mailers to send out,
yeah.
Some of the merch.
Never a new knife or...
there's new knives. There's some of those pop things.
Yeah, I would say those crazy little statue things you get.
Hey, it's all podcast related.
Yeah.
That's inspiration.
Is that what it is?
For the podcast. Yeah.
A little Dwight pop thing sitting there.
But, I do think, right, money for sure. Yeah. In a relationship, big time stressor. Infidelity, a no-brainer.
Yeah, if you're going to cheat and fight all the time and, why be together? I mean, why? Why do all that?
I don't know.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I mean, my assumption is Donna didn't know this going in, right? Most women would not marry a man if they knew he was like this guy.
Oh, I'm sure he painted.
Oh, yeah.
A much better picture when they were dating.
Now, that's an assumption. I don't know that, but I think it's pretty plausible. Most women aren't going to say, this guy's a real piece of shit. I'm going to go ahead and go through with it.
Yeah, I can't wait to tie him up forever.
No, the problem is they don't find that out until, that marriage is already...
True colors.
Yeah, the true colors come out. Now, for my wife, her trigger is different. Not that we won't fight about money if something comes up, but her trigger is like me putting my stuff away when I come home.
Yeah.
Shoes, coats. I could be a broke ass cheater.
Yeah.
And I think get away with it as long as I put my shoes up when I get home from work.
Yeah. Well, you tell her next time she gets on you about shoes, you say, Gibby says you shouldn't get on you until she puts all those 5 pairs of shoes laying around the table.
Well, unfortunately, those are not hers. Those are my daughter's. Yeah. So because they have the same, have the same thing that I do.
Maybe don't say Gibby said.
I won't say that.
That's not good.
Now, I kid. She would definitely not put up with the cheating part. She might hang in there for a little while on the broke part.
Yeah.
Like if I was, a broke ass dude, but she definitely not the cheating and definitely not the shoes. That is right up there with cheating, I think.
Put those damn shoes up, man.
I know. So the two married in 1997. The marriage is not going well. Court documents reference the fact that they refinanced their home in 2000. They only been married like 3 years.
That's pretty
well
fast, but who knows?
I mean, if rates are advantageous, then refinance.
Sure.
But I think they were doing like one of those refi takeouts.
Oh, yeah. Cash out what we can.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a testament maybe to how bad things had already gotten in like a 3-year span of this marriage, especially on the financial front. They had separate checking accounts, which I know a lot of couples do.
Sure.
I've got a good friend. He and his wife have been married probably 25 years.
Yeah.
Have always had separate checking accounts. They know what they're supposed to pay for, and it works like a charm.
As long as you know up front.
But that's not the reason that these two had separate checking accounts. She, Donna, did not trust David with the money.
Yeah.
Just pure and simple. Just not at all. So when they refinanced this home, Donna had the money sent to her account. This was an account that David did not have access to, presumably, so he would not spend it.
Right.
So they must, like I said, they must have taken some money out because it was about $105,000. It was a big chunk of change.
It was a big chunk of change.
That got wired into her account. He could not have been happy about that.
No, he probably had plans for that money.
He did, and we'll find out what they are. So this brings us up to 2001, right? The next year. Again, we're only 4 years into this marriage. Donna wanted to go to Columbus, Ohio.
Hey.
To go see some of her family.
That's a good place to be.
She was going to take her 2 kids. Yeah, it's a good place to be, right? Right down the road from us, Gibbs.
Yeah.
About an hour and a half. Not far at all.
Not far.
So she bought plane tickets for the 3 of them on June 25th. That's the day she bought the tickets.
Okay.
They were scheduled to fly out on July 7th. So those 2 dates are important because it's all the things that are going to happen in between that kind of set the stage. Now, they're never going to make this flight, right? Donna and her 2 kids. And some strange things started happening just a few days after Donna bought the tickets. So first of all, somebody changed her PIN on her bank account.
Okay.
That's not good.
Somebody.
Someone, and I'm saying someone
right,
for a reason. I think everybody can figure out who it's going to be.
Right.
But that's never good. And I don't know how that was done in 2001. I don't even know how I would change my PIN if I needed to in 2019. I'm assuming
at the machine.
Can you change your PIN at the machine?
I think you can at the machine. At the green machine.
It seems like it would be dangerous because the green machine. It seems like it would be dangerous because somebody could force you at gunpoint to change your own PIN.
Yeah.
And then to whatever they wanted and then just take your card. But
could. For some reason I thought you could.
Maybe you can.
Online you should.
Yeah, but 2001, I mean, obviously they had the internet, but it wasn't huge.
Yeah.
In 2001. A lot of people still didn't have it probably.
Take forever.
And it did take forever to do things. So my assumption is it was probably done over the phone somehow by calling the bank or maybe going into the bank. I don't know. The bottom line is if somebody wants something bad enough, you know they will find a way.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in 2019.
Oh.
There's like 13-year-old hackers sitting somewhere in the world that can essentially steal anything you have.
Yeah.
In about 4 keystrokes.
Pretty quick.
Smarter than you and I and everybody in this city put together.
That's why my password
is 1 2 3 4.
No, not anymore.
Oh, you changed it?
I changed
from
it.
1 2 3 4.
Yeah, to 2 3 4 5. But no.
But before that, it was password, and
Password.
I thought that was a really bad idea.
Yeah. So now I have 72 different numbers,
Characters.
letters, symbols.
72.
It takes me forever to do anything, but nobody's going to get in.
That is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because, there's a computer program, and if you got 72, I mean, that's billions of trillions of different combinations.
Yeah,
probably
I knew that
trillions.
already because,
You already did the math
and stuff.
in your Mensa brain.
I did.
So Donna is set to go to Columbus, right, on July 7th. Now, not long after Donna bought these tickets, David went to a car dealership. He decided that he was going to buy a new truck.
Okay.
It's a great feeling.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've bought 2 new trucks in my whole life. One when I was like 23 years old.
Yeah.
And one about 4 years ago. It's a great feeling.
It is a good feeling.
I can't wait to buy another new one.
Get a new truck whenever you can.
He picked out the one that he wanted.
Okay.
And he was ready to buy. But he told the salesman that he didn't want to close on the deal until July 7th.
Okay.
Which just happens to be the day his wife is flying to Columbus.
Yeah. I don't want to bring it home until she's gone.
Well, the salesman was later quoted in some court documents as having said that David told him he was about ready to come into some money.
Oh, the old coming into some money.
So I got to get the money before I can close on the truck. The other very telling thing that David did was, at some point he scheduled a carpet cleaning company to come out to the house on like the 9th or 10th.
Okay. That's
So like a day or two, like maybe July 9th, I think it was.
I don't know too many people that will have their carpets clean when their family's away.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually a good time to do it if you think about it.
is,
but when we find out what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Looking back on it, it seems like that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
You are, just telling everybody. So you see where all of this is headed, right? This guy is planning something a few weeks out. But it doesn't seem like he's being all that sneaky. This guy's not Jason Bourne. He's not being inconspicuous about the whole thing.
Being confident in whatever he's planning to do, maybe?
Or confident or reckless. I don't know what it is. It's like he's leaving this Hansel and Gretel crumb trail.
Oh, man.
That police are pretty easily going to be able to, lead their way to him.
You say crumbs. I think they're more like croutons some places.
Yeah. These are like full-blown croutons.
Yeah.
He's not even crumbling them up.
No.
So it's July 6th. This is the night before Donna and the kids are set to fly to Columbus. Donna got home from work, first shift. She took a nap. And the reason that she took a nap, Gibbs, was because she worked a second shift job at the post office. This blew me away. I'm not really sure. I never could find out what David did for a living.
Yeah.
But I know his wife had to work 2 jobs. I don't even know if this guy worked. I couldn't find it. Sounds like she was working herself to the bone.
There's some people that will do that for a significant other, man.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I've got to work.
Yeah, no, I get it. This didn't seem like that type of relationship though, right? They didn't seem lovey-dovey. It seemed like a bad marriage.
Yeah.
Now, if your husband refuses to work and you've got 2 kids to support, a mom will do whatever she has to do. She'll work 3 jobs if she has to.
I mean, if I could find a sugar mama.
A sugar mama that works 2 jobs.
That's not really a good sugar mama.
I don't think that's really a sugar mama, but
yeah.
I think this was more of a mom that was going to do whatever she had to do to take care of her kids.
Right.
Now, in the process, she had to take care of this guy too, I think.
It's like a third kid to her.
They're still married.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's pulling his weight, but maybe not.
I think she just sees him as a third kid.
Maybe. I think it's probably one of the reasons why they fought about money so much. And why Donna had her own separate account.
She's
making all the money.
Bringing in the bacon.
And working 2 jobs to do it. But remember, someone had changed the PIN on her account. And while Donna was sleeping, this was in between the time where she got off from her first job and before she was supposed to go to the post office for her second. Someone made a call from her cell phone to her bank and requested a transfer of $84,000 from her account, the one that she had by herself,
right,
to the joint account that David and Donna kept together. Can probably figure out who made that call.
Sure.
Obviously he's going to dispute that when it all comes, down, but who had the opportunity and who had the motive to transfer money to the joint account? There's only two people
Right.
that have control of it.
Him or her?
And one of them in less than, 12 hours is going to be dead.
Yeah. And only a few people knew that money was in that other account. Anyway.
Sure. Yeah. You don't tell your friends, hey, I took out $105,000, reverse refi or whatever, take out refi.
I wouldn't just tell them that. I would just leave my
statement.
My statement laying out.
So they don't know where it came from.
They're like, did you see his green card machine receipt?
Now you're calling it a green card?
Green
What'd
machine.
You just came into the country and
green machine.
had to get a green
ATM
card?
printout.
So to step back for a minute, you said green machine. When I was taking my daughter to college, there was this old deli.
Okay.
It actually said something delicatessen. I don't remember the name of it. Across from the college, and you could tell it was really old. It was not open. It had crumbled. It hadn't been open for years.
Right.
So one of the signs said money station.
Ooh.
On top, and the other one said genie. Remember when they used to call it a genie?
I do remember the genie.
So they still had these signs from like the 80s.
Yeah.
On this building that who knows the last time that was open.
Money station. I like that. I want me a money station sign.
They used to have a lot of names for ATMs.
They did.
Green machine. And
everybody was competing to get that market.
Yeah, I think it was like a brand. Wasn't it? Like Genie was a brand or something?
Was. Yeah, with
I forget.
I know which bank it was. Yeah.
Anyway, I get a kick out of seeing old stuff like that. It takes me back.
Yeah.
To, when I was 10 years old, you were probably 37. I don't know. I'd have to do the math in my head.
Yeah,
but
I know. I was old. I know. I'm surprised I'm able to sit here this long.
But back to this account, right? Somebody made a call, initiated this $84,000 transfer. Like I mentioned, there's only really one person, if you think, two people that could have done it. And one of the individuals is asleep at this point in time. I think the important thing about the transfer, Gibbs, is that it required the use of Donna's PIN.
Yeah.
In order to, back at that time frame, in order to make the transfer happen, the caller had to give her PIN over the phone. Well, it had been changed. But Gibbs, I don't think this would have been too hard for David to make happen, right? Changing this PIN, getting this transfer done. I mean, I changed the PIN on your account since we've been sitting here talking.
Great.
You probably never noticed. People on the video probably didn't notice, which was by design because that's going to be my alibi, right? I'm gesturing wildly with my hands.
Sure.
I'm not using the computer. How in the world did I change the PIN on your account?
You got special skills, I know.
Well, the bad part is, after I changed it, I took a look in there. It said you have a whopping $23.87 in your accounts. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Yeah, well, you fell into my trap. That's my little hidden account,
Who are you, some Bond villain? Did you just say aha?
Aha.
Like you're some villain springing a trap on Batman? You sound like Lex Luthor getting the drop on Superman. Aha, I got you.
I kind of did.
So you have a hidden account, a faux account.
Yeah.
That you keep $23.87 in. You have some much bigger account somewhere else.
I do.
That's more hidden. Very well hidden.
It's bigger than Warren Buffett's.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know he's worth like 80 some billion dollars?
Yeah. So maybe it's not as big as that.
It's a number that you can't even wrap your head around.
But when you see that one account that you found, you don't want to hack me, do you?
No, it's not worth me even touching one key to get your $23.
You're like, why did I even think this was worth my time?
All right, man, enough. We got to get back to this case. So Donna eventually got up from her nap, right? I said it. She's a hard worker. She has to get to her second job at the post office. investigators know that she clocked out from her shift at 2:18 a.m. I'm telling you, man, you work first shift, go home and take a power nap, and then work till like 2:20 in the morning. That is something else. Add on top of that, she's set to board this flight at 7:35 in the morning.
Man, that's coming early.
With her 2 kids.
Yeah. And that's what you said, 2 kids. She's got to get the kids ready.
She's got to go home. She's got to get them up. She's got to get them ready.
Packed and everything.
So, and it's a cross-country flight, right? You're not taking a little puddle jumper to Reno or wherever.
Right.
What's close to Phoenix.
Yeah. You're coming all the way over here to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, it's cross-country. So this woman essentially works a double shift that ends just 5 hours before she's about ready to board, not even board the plane. It's scheduled to take off.
Yeah.
So they got to board even earlier.
Well, she's got to be at the airport and go through all the screenings.
Sure. So the other thing that investigators figure out is that her credit card was used at a gas station at 3:30 a.m. This is along the route between her house and the post office. And when they got her cell phone records, they find out that a call was made to her bank's customer service line. This was about 5:57 a.m.
Okay.
So they're kind of filling in some of the details here.
Yeah.
They don't know who's doing all of this.
But they just know it occurred.
They know it occurred. And then after that, the voicemail on her phone was called 3 times. And I had to think back. Was this back in the day where you actually had to call your own voicemail number to hear your voicemails? I know there was a point in time where you had to do that.
It might have been. And maybe
There wasn't just a button you hit and voicemails would start playing.
Yeah, I don't
know. It's
remember.
2001, so I'm not sure.
But I also wonder, did she have to call in or whoever to get a verification code? Did that why when they tried to change, when they called the bank, do you have to call, get a verification before they talk to you back then?
I don't know. How did we go from voicemails back to the customer service line at the bank? I was talking about voicemails.
Yeah, but right prior 5:57, someone called the bank.
Right. So you're going backwards to talk about that?
Well, I just don't know.
I'm just making sure I know where we're at.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering when they called at 5:57 if they had to, they were told they were going to get a voicemail or
with a code.
With the code.
You're saying that's why they had to call into their voicemail.
Yeah, then they call back and say the code is. That's how they verify I am who I am.
I don't know. I understand it now, but I don't know the answer.
I know,
No, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to follow along.
Yeah.
No, it could be. It very well could be. But there was no other activity on Donna's cell phone after that ever again, right? No, nothing. So Donna and her 2 children, Danielle and Richard, like I mentioned before, they never made their flight. So obviously at some point, Donna's family in Ohio is worried.
Oh, yeah.
My assumption is there was probably somebody at the airport to pick her up. And when Donna and the kids didn't, walk down the gangway.
Yeah.
Something's up. What's going on?
Yeah.
Let's call her husband and find out. He doesn't know. No idea. Right? They're not getting anything when they call David. Matter of fact, I don't even think they could get in touch with him. I don't think it was like he didn't know. I actually think they never were able to get a hold of him. So very quickly they got worried. They called the police, right? Out in Phoenix. So the police go to David's house, pay him a visit, right?
Sure.
They got to figure out what's going on. And they tell him, hey, your wife, your stepchildren, they're missing. They never made their flight. Investigators said that this guy, he didn't seem worried at all. He's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, so why are you telling me?
Well, we hear that all the time, right? And in some of these cases that we do, where someone just doesn't act as though you believe they would in a certain situation. Now, we've also talked about the fact that people react differently. Different people react differently in certain situations. But I don't know anyone who wouldn't be shocked and worried.
Exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you would think they would be like, what do you mean they didn't make it? Do we know anything?
What do you need me to do? Or,
Yeah.
Tell me what I can do, or, whatever it is. This guy acted like he didn't give a shit.
I mean, I'll be grabbing my keys to go see where my kids were.
Right. Go to the airport, do something.
Yeah.
I think most people would be distraught, right? Because they know something happened, whether it was just a car accident but even a car accident, somebody would have probably called by now.
Right.
Unless they were all three seriously injured. Either way, not making the flight and not hearing from them is very bad.
Oh, really bad. And I know so much time has probably already passed.
Yeah. Still the same day, but
but
a couple hours to get over here.
Yeah.
And then, so 3 or 4 hours has gone by at the very least.
So if they didn't make the flight, they would have returned home. Most people would have returned home.
Right. Now, you know what David does that day? He goes to the car dealership because, hey, I got to get that truck, man.
I've been waiting for that truck.
And he writes them a check for almost $40,000.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice truck. And
back in that year.
Today, that's a nice truck.
Yeah.
In 2001, that's got to be a top of the line truck.
It's like a Ford Raptor or something.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
It never said what kind it was, but I'm thinking $40,000 truck in 2001 is top of the line.
It should do everything for you.
So he gave him the check. He picked up his brand new truck. All of a sudden, Gibbs, he's come into a little bit of money. Well, where did he get that money? We know where he got it.
We do.
But it's going to take a while for police to unravel it. They did find Donna's vehicle in a Phoenix parking lot on the 9th. So really, all of this is happening very quickly. And it does. When they find the car, the doors are unlocked, the keys are in the ignition. The same day that the vehicle was found, Anthony went to buy a new mattress. He paid cash at the store, but he also gave them a false name and a false address, which is very important when you're at the mattress store. You don't want those people knowing who you are, and you don't want them knowing where you live.
Don't tell them where you live, man, ever.
Anonymity when buying a mattress is really and should be your top priority.
Yeah, because once they know,
they'll never leave you alone. There'll be mattress people like knocking on your door. It'll get rough.
Yeah.
Now, this is also the same day that the scheduled carpet cleaners come out. So everything's kind of just progressing in motion the way this guy said it.
Wonder if there's sunset cleaners.
I don't know. But there was blood all over the carpet. So David has to explain to these people why he needs them to clean all this blood off the carpet. Now, he said his dog got cut, bled all over the carpet. It's not a ton of blood, and we'll talk about how much and when we get into the case a little bit more. It's still a conversation you're going to have with the carpet cleaners.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to get out because apparently he had already tried unsuccessfully to clean the carpet of this blood.
Probably bought one of those, not bought, but rented one of those ones from the local store,
Oh, yeah. They still do that?
Oh,
I used to see them all the time. Like the grocery store would have them, or I think Lowe's might have them.
They all do, yeah. The
hardware stores have them. Or
Kroger still.
Kroger's has them.
I just don't know about renting something that somebody
else has used.
I don't know.
Because they're not taking that apart and really cleaning those out.
They're not sanitizing those down.
So you get one from Kroger.
Yeah.
And you are essentially cleaning up a crime scene.
Yeah.
That you've probably caused. I'll throw that out there.
Well, probably for sure.
And then, 78-year-old Granny Smith goes to Kroger, happens to get this one. Well, gets her son to take it home for her.
Yeah.
And she's now contaminated her whole house.
Yeah, she's got some DNA from who knows what.
From who knows who or where or what.
Yeah. On her carpet now.
That is a little strange.
It is.
And maybe somebody works at Kroger or somebody knows something about them and says, oh, they disinfect them and they do this, they do that.
Sure they do. They can say well, they do it.
It's like taking bowling shoes and
But when you're paying someone
just
minimum
spraying that
wage,
stuff in.
minimum wage to clean something up, they're like,
No, not doing this one.
It looks clean to me. I'll just put it back
This
on the
one's
rack.
got chunks in it. I'm leaving this one alone.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know about some of that stuff. I've never used one of those. So, but he did. He tried to clean this, and Gibbs, blood stains. I say like you really do. I'm messing around, but blood stains are really hard to get out.
Well, sure.
Of anything, you get blood on your shirt or whatever. It's not the easiest thing to get out.
No, I think they always say you have to use your own saliva to get your blood out. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to get out.
Or so I've been told, mostly by you.
Yeah.
I've heard it from you numerous times.
Many.
So he's got a new mattress. He's got the carpets cleaned.
Yeah.
Later on, he's going to go buy a new washer, a new dryer, and a new vacuum cleaner.
So,
because you're going to need all three of those to be replaced.
Because that's what you do when you have extra cash and your family's away. You're going to go get all this new stuff.
You're being facetious.
I am.
I get it.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you were being serious. But
No.
I got it. I clued in on the facetiousness.
I'm glad you did. Yeah.
But before he can get to shopping, the police come see him again. And in the report, they note that the house looked very clean. Actually, in the report, the word immaculate was used.
Wow.
It also said that there was a very strong cleaner smell, specifically Pine Sol. Like whoever wrote the report, the police officer knew it was Pine Sol.
I think we all know that Pine Sol smell.
Yeah, it's pretty distinctive.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when they were there on their earlier visit, they didn't get to the room where any of this blood was. They weren't in the room where the carpet cleaner guys were.
Right.
And they didn't get there on this visit either. Now, on July 10th, David Anthony wrote out a check from the joint account, the one that he shared with Donna. I think it was for like 40 grand. It was a large chunk of money.
Wow.
And he took it and he deposited it into another account. This was an account that he shared with his son, a son from a previous marriage. So when all of this comes to light, it's not going to be hard, right? And this, what he has done, the trail that he's left, it's going to be like a homing beacon.
Yeah.
For police. Just shine, this big light is shining on him saying, yeah, I did all this stuff. So the police questioned Anthony a number of times. At one point, they wanted to issue a missing persons report for Donna and the kids. David said, no, I don't want that. He said Donna wouldn't want that. She would be very upset if she was pulled over and questioned about being a missing person.
What in the world, man?
How strange is that? She would be upset if we all made a fuss over this thing and it turned out to be nothing.
Okay. Well, you know what? That was my family. I'd say, I don't care.
Yeah. I would be like, get the cavalry, get the Marines, get the National Guard, call in MacGyver if you need to. Get the A-team out of retirement.
Ooh,
Mr.
T.
I know. Get Jason Bourne. Get everybody in on this thing. Get the accountant, Ben Affleck, which is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I really like that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some picadillos, but he was a badass.
Why, look, I get MacGruber.
You get MacGruber instead of MacGyver.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny.
That's who I get. Yeah.
And he's no help. If anything, he just messes the whole situation up even more.
He would find my family and forget that they were my family and just wave to them goodbye.
Or in the process of saving them, accidentally hurt them catastrophically or something like that.
MacGruber.
So, yeah, I think you and I are in the same boat, right? I don't care what you have to do. Just find my wife and kids. And if for some reason it's a false alarm, so be it. Yeah. I'll deal with my wife, or I'll deal with, that sounds bad. I won't deal with her. I won't have her whacked, but I'll handle it. I'll deal with the wrath if she's mad for some reason because we made this big fuss.
Exactly.
But again, this guy is doing a bunch of stuff that to me, to you, to the audience is going to sound foolish.
Yeah.
But in his head, I guess he thought it made sense. The BS that, he's saying as to why they shouldn't put this missing persons report out. So as they're questioning David, he said that Don and the kids left to go to the airport around 5:30 that morning. But he added that Donna liked to wear a bunch of flashy jewelry. She often carried large sums of cash on her.
Similar to you with your
Sure.
jewelry. You like to sport.
I like to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wear, the whole outfit.
The big chains.
But he's saying this to insinuate that, okay, maybe, on the trip to the airport, she got lost. She got into a bad neighborhood and something happened to her.
Yeah.
Because she's wearing all this jewelry and carrying a bunch of cash that nobody knows about.
Yeah. They must have robbed her for that.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Seems like an odd theory to offer up at the time that police are looking for your wife.
Right.
I wouldn't naturally jump to, oh, she must have got into a bad neighborhood and somebody killed her.
I told her not to carry that cash on her.
Now, David also told the police officers that their marriage was great, no problems, no fighting. So the guy's a lying machine, obviously. They ultimately got a search warrant, right, for his house. They started taking everything. They took mattresses, they took the bedding, they pulled up the carpet, they used luminol, they did all kinds of testing there. There was blood, right? The luminol showed it. They pulled up the carpet, they could see blood, right? Because it seeps through the carpet onto the concrete.
And it's there.
The floor.
It's in the pores of the concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could see it. They found it. They found drops that they determined later to be Donna's blood in the master bedroom. And they found some on the carpet. Underneath the carpet, they found some blood that turned out to be Danielle's. They found traces of Richard's blood in his room. They also found a .38 caliber pistol that was hidden in an air duct or a vent, like you'd see in a movie or something.
It's kind of telling.
Somewhat. Yeah, it is. The problem I think they had with this pistol was, now obviously if they had a body, they could have matched it ballistically.
Right.
What they couldn't tell was whether the gun had been fired recently. I think you could tell within a matter of time. Like if you fired a gun 20 minutes ago.
Sure.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Guns get very hot when you fire them. And also residue and things like that. But if you fired it 4 days ago, I don't know that they could tell that.
Probably not.
That's what I got from it.
I did think it was interesting, too, that they found even more additional blood spots that were inside the house. So, he tried his best. I say he tried. I'm assuming that this is something he did. But, he carpet cleaners, the pine saw smell.
He tried everything. Yeah. I think you're right. What experts later would say at trial, that they found a lot of blood spots, right? But they didn't find a lot of blood, I guess you would say, in volume, Gibbs. So it wasn't like, the expert could sit there and say, oh, without a doubt, 3 people were killed in this house. It wasn't that much blood.
Yeah.
But they found blood from all 3 of the family members.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a strange situation. From that, they didn't know if they were killed somewhere else, brought back. They didn't know exactly how everything had happened.
And I think it'd be different if they lived somewhere else and this was a place they'd never been.
Yeah.
Right? Because
people bleed all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if they found me dead and came here, they'd be like, we found his blood. You'd be like, but he bled all the time.
Yeah. You cut yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem is they found a lot of, and I don't want to say a lot of blood because it really was not a lot of blood. It was a lot of separate droplets or whatever. I mean, they found some on the hamper and they found it in all kinds of different places.
Just not large volume.
Yeah, it just wasn't a large volume. Behind the headboard. They found it in a lot of different places in the house. When they tested Donna's truck, they quickly realized that it had been wiped down. There was no doubt. They found just a small amount of fingerprints. It's too few, right, to not be wiped down.
Right.
There would have been many more fingerprints when they dusted. They did find some traces of blood in the truck, consistent with both Donna and Danielle. But again, this is her truck.
Yeah. But still, overall, this can't be looking very good for Anthony, right?
You know, when you take it in totality, and that's what we're going to talk about when we talk about the trial.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to have a lot on this guy in the form of like, I gotcha type evidence. What they have is a whole bunch of stuff that when you add it all up, it's like, well, how could this guy not have done it?
Yeah.
You
know, got enough of the puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they just can't link it all solid.
Right. If you found a couple of drops of blood in a weird spot, you'd say, well, I don't know how that got there. But when you schedule a cleaning crew, when you've used gallons of Pine Sol before they even got there, you know, all of that.
It's very suspicious.
Yeah. All of that kind of adds up. So obviously, Gibbs, this is not looking good for Anthony, for David Anthony at all.
Right.
You know, he was arrested. He was indicted on 3 charges of first-degree murder on August 10th. And I think that date's important, right? It's amazing how quickly all of this transpired. Now, he didn't make it that hard for police to figure it all out, I don't think. But, you know, they're murdered in July.
Yeah.
Within about a month, this guy's indicted. The prosecution came out and said that they were going to seek the death penalty. I was doing some traffic directing there again.
Is that what you're...
I don't know. I'm slicing imaginary pie. I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Well,
I'm a little hungry, so maybe that's
probably what you're doing.
Maybe that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When they get to trial, the prosecution presented all of the blood evidence, and they had a ton. They really did. They had a ton of evidence. You know, by this time, they had also identified semen from a mattress that they believed belonged to Anthony. It happened to be on a mattress that also had Danielle's blood on it.
Okay, not good.
Not good. Some of her blood, some of his semen. They believe, for some reason, experts could not say for certain that it was his. I don't know if they didn't have a good enough sample. I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, this is 2001.
You'd think they would be able to.
They had DNA.
But to have her blood and his semen on a mattress that was in the same house.
Not good.
Not good, but it's not.
Again, that's why I said there's no smoking gun. There's no real aha, gotcha, to use the aha term again. You know, the one thing that the expert did say is they could not exclude him.
Yeah.
And I think what was really telling was they said that the sperm was aspermatic. I don't know if I'm saying that word correctly, but Anthony had a vasectomy.
Okay.
Which would mean that his sperm was aspermatic.
Okay.
Or aspermatic. I don't know how you say it.
So at least they can say...
Yeah, it's not looking good for him. Yeah. That's kind of how all the evidence boils down to, right? None of it makes him look good. You can't exclude him from any of this.
Yeah.
It's all pointing towards the fact that this guy did this.
Right.
But it's not him on camera committing the crime. And don't forget, there's no bodies.
Right.
They have not found the bodies of either of the 3 victims.
Which means you have no murder weapon because you don't know what could have killed those people.
Yeah, right. They have a .38 pistol.
Yeah.
They don't know if that's the murder weapon.
Nope.
They don't even know. They don't know how they died. Technically, They don't know they're dead, right? And that's, I think, trouble in a lot of cases, or it definitely used to be. You used to hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't prosecute because they had no body.
Yeah,
that was why the big thing about the mafia, get rid of the bodies.
Get rid of the gun, get rid of the bodies, and it's all circumstantial.
Right.
And that's what else are you going to do at that point? It's like you said, it's a prosecutor's nightmare.
Yeah. This case is different from that, right?
Right.
They have a lot of evidence. They wade through it all in the trial. But like I said, really no smoking gun. A lot of little circumstantial stuff that is pointing to him. The prosecution's position was that something inappropriate was going on between David Anthony and his stepdaughter, Danielle. That's what they put forth at trial.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that. I get that because you got her blood on the mattress, his semen on the mattress.
That was a big part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can also say, as far as the defense, you can say his semen can be on any of the mattresses. Who knows what he did when they weren't there?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of things for the defense to poke holes in.
Yeah.
But, specifically the prosecution said, okay, they had this relationship. And at some point, either somebody found out about it.
Yeah.
Something happened to make David Anthony believe that he had to kill everyone in the family. So this secret didn't get out.
Yeah. And they're right. I mean, I could see that because it would have to be something big enough, damaging enough
to make you want to kill someone.
Yeah.
So that was what they put forth as the motive. Now that's going to be a big issue coming up. A lot of the trial was centered around this, though. There was just a ton of it, a ton of talk about, this inappropriate relationship, what he was doing, molestation of his stepdaughter, Danielle. They had witnesses that said Danielle was very afraid of David and that she had confided in them that he had touched her before.
That's a problem,
It is a problem, but it's also hearsay.
Yeah, but I get it. It definitely is hearsay, but it's one of those things that is very alarming because when a kid does something like that, it tends to be true.
Oh, normally it's very hard, right? Let's talk about a girl. Historically, it's been hard, I think, for a lot of girls to come forward when they're in this situation. So if you have somebody that comes forward, well, you very damn well better believe that what they're telling is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not an easy thing to do to tell someone that that's happening to you. Yeah. But I think in the eyes of the law, wouldn't that be considered hearsay? You're telling it, but you heard it from somebody else.
Oh, you're right.
And that person can't corroborate it.
But if it's enough for the prosecutor to get in the minds of the jurors that he's a child molester.
So to that point, as he's wrapping the case up in his closing arguments, he called the guy a child molester like 3 or 4 times. He just kept calling him the child molester.
Is burying it in their head again and again and again.
Like 3 or 4 times, basically saying, please do not forget when you go to deliberate, I'm telling you, this guy is a child molester.
Yeah. And that's tough for a defense to defend against.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about some of the things. They did try to poke holes in, the semen and the blood that was on the same mattress.
Yeah.
They said that Danielle was on her menstrual cycle. That's where the blood came from. Now, I don't know how you get the semen on there as well, but they tried to poke holes in everything.
Yeah. I was just trying to think, menstrual cycle, 10-year-old. But I guess a 10-year-old can start that early. I guess it's not
I think
uncalled,
so. Yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I think it's a little young, but I don't think it's that strange.
Right.
Really what they tried to do was say, Gibbs, okay, you found a little bit of blood here in this room. You found a drop of blood here. Like you said, what does that mean? Does that mean that somebody was killed in this room because you found a drop of blood? Normally it does not.
Right.
You would expect depending on how they were killed, to find a lot more blood.
Yeah. I mean, if this is the house they grew up in, they were living here. Who
Well,
knows?
I think that's the flip side of the argument.
Yeah.
Right? You would expect to find blood in a house that people have lived in for some time.
Exactly.
You know, they found Richard's blood in Richard's room. Okay.
That shouldn't be a shock.
He nicked his hand. You know, who knows?
Right.
But this is what the defense is trying to do. And I don't blame them because, like I said, it sounds, this case is by no means one of those slam dunk cases at all. They don't have that, you know, kind of gotcha type evidence that says, I don't care what you say, this proves you did it.
Right.
There's really nothing proving that this guy committed the crimes. But when you take everything in totality, it's hard to think that he didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess is the best way, you know, for me to explain it. They did try to dance around the financial issues. You know, some of that stuff's hard to explain.
I think it's really hard to explain.
You know, who changed the PIN?
Yeah.
Who requested the transfer of money? And then how magically did you buy this truck and tell somebody you were going to buy it on the 7th if you didn't know that your wife was not going to be around and that you were going to be getting this money?
Exactly. I don't know if I would go buy a brand new truck when my family was missing.
Well, and so that's the other thing. He planned it like two weeks in advance, the purchase of this truck.
Yeah.
Which means he had to have planned out the murder.
Yeah.
Knowing that they were going to go on the 7th for this flight, it was going to be the time to do it.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, anybody that really cared about their family, whatever they had scheduled that day, they wouldn't have followed through on anything. They would have been more concerned about...
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Okay, you got an appointment to go buy a truck? Well, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I'd be like...
I'll buy it a month from now, 2 months from now, or I'll never buy it.
I just need to know if my family's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, the defense team tried to introduce Donna's ex. They had witnesses that said this guy had a very violent temper.
Which is probably why he's the ex.
Yeah, but they tried to cast this doubt over this guy saying, well, he possibly could have killed Donna. He has a motive, potentially.
I mean, that's their job.
He's paying child support maybe or whatever it is.
That's their job, right?
Sure.
Reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt.
Yeah, they talked about the molestation. They said that was laughable. And one thing in particular they pointed to was the fact that the prosecution didn't even charge him with the crime. They charged him with 3 murders. They never charged him with molestation or any sex crime related to Danielle at all.
Yeah.
The defense really hammered that home.
That's a valid point, though.
It is. The prosecution said they just didn't want to muddy the waters. Right? They're going after the murders.
Yeah.
This other thing happened, but we can't prove it happened.
Right.
But the issue is they're trying to use it as the motive for the murder, but yet they technically can't prove that this molestation happened for sure.
No, I mean,
it's going to crop up.
Again, it's hearsay.
It's going to crop up to be a big issue. But I think, we're kind of building up to this, Gibbs, but I think all of this in total was enough for jurors to connect the dots. There's enough there, right? For them to believe that this guy murdered his family. And that's exactly what happened. They found David Anthony guilty of the murders, and he got a death sentence for each of them. But like I said before, I don't think by any stretch this was an open and shut case.
No, and I think it probably is a hard pill for many to swallow to think that this guy got the sentence that he got without having any bodies, without having any weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough one.
I mean, depending on the jury makeup, right, you could have easily had somebody on there that said, you know what? I'm not convinced.
Well,
the state has not proven, and when you and I just talked about this standard of reasonable doubt, it's pretty extreme.
That's when you got to pick a good juror.
again, there was a lot of evidence. I think a lot of it was circumstantial, but then something happened, Gibbs, in 2005. They found the bodies. Right? He's already in jail.
Yeah.
And it was like maybe I think his trial was in 2002, let's say. 3 years after he's convicted, there was a construction crew working at a Walmart, I think, outside of Phoenix. It was a special crew. They took trees and like transplanted them.
Oh, okay.
Took them from construction sites where they were getting ready to build something.
So getting ready to put in a new Walmart before they could start. They made the deal with the city. We'll take all your beautiful trees, dig them up, put them somewhere else.
So this company comes in, they dig up the trees, they put them somewhere else. As they're digging these trees, underneath, they find 2 barrels. And I think the construction worker, when he opened the first one, had no idea. Didn't know what it was. The second one, he could tell it was a body. So they called the police. The police come out. They kept searching. Took them like 2 weeks before they found the 3rd barrel.
Oh, wow.
And it took them a while and some DNA to figure out that this was Donna, Danielle, and Richard. So you've already got this guy.
Right.
He's put away. He's going to die by execution. Now they find the bodies. You think you feel better as a juror that, I did the right thing? I don't know that still proves he did it.
Yeah, I mean,
it proves they met an untimely death.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
they just didn't have an accident somewhere and somehow he got.
Yeah. They didn't take cross country to get away from this guy.
Right.
Living in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal, right? Hit all the papers. But Anthony's in prison. He's still appealing his convictions. And it was in 2008 that the Arizona Supreme Court overturned his conviction on the grounds that the court erred when it improperly admitted all the allegations of the molestation. I told you it would come back around.
Sure.
And it does in a big way. Because they said that the trial judge should not have allowed the prosecution to suggest that this molestation by David against Danielle was the motive for murder.
Sure.
Because they couldn't prove the molestation. I kind of already hinted about it. They couldn't prove it. So how are you saying to the jury that this is the motive?
That's very valid.
It is very valid. Now, I think there was one of the judges that dissented and said, you know what? The jury heard all the evidence and they convicted this guy and we shouldn't be messing with it.
Yeah.
I read it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because he got outvoted. They overturned this conviction. This guy's going to get a new trial.
Okay.
This is after they found the bodies. This is what is so strange about this case. They don't have the bodies. He gets convicted.
Yeah.
Now they have the bodies. This guy needs a new trial. After that, not too glamorous, really. The prosecution presented their case again. Didn't start back up till 2012.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. He's in prison.
Yeah.
No reason to rush it.
No, there's no hurry.
He's not getting out.
Yeah.
Unless we somehow lose this thing. And then he is getting out.
Right.
They presented pretty much the same case, right? This time they had the bodies. I don't know how much evidence they were able to get from the bodies, though. I really couldn't find whether, it proved that they were shot. There really wasn't anything out there.
I mean, that many years in a barrel.
Yeah. It was pretty rough, I believe.
Yeah.
It was especially from what I read, the first barrel that they opened, the guy didn't know what it was. That tells me that it was in bad shape.
Yeah. I don't really want to say what it probably looked like.
Yeah.
So.
Not good.
No.
Not good. But Gibbs, one thing I forgot to mention. So he got this new trial that started in 2012. The thing that I found very strange about it was that when they went back to look at the record, the transcripts, Not one time did his defense team ever object to this molestation line.
Really?
Not when they called him a child molester 3 times. Now I don't know if that was a ploy to allow it to stand because now we're going to hit you with it on appeal, or if he just had a bad attorney and they didn't catch it.
But you're right. What if they would have said during the trial, we object to that,
and we'll strike it all from the record.
Right. But it's already been, it's already been said.
It's a good point, right? Maybe he still gets convicted. They don't have this in their back pocket to appeal.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe more likely that the attorney just wasn't a great attorney and he didn't catch it.
It is. It's a big chess match. I mean,
but I did think that was interesting.
Yeah.
That not once did they ever object to this thing that was a huge issue on appeal and got the whole thing overturned.
I mean, it's probably what made the jurors mind up. I think it
went a long way.
It walked them in the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely think it went a long way. So this trial lasted just a couple of months and the jury reached the same conclusion, right? That Anthony was guilty of the murders of his wife, Donna, and his 2 stepchildren, Danielle and Richard. A few days later, they sentenced him once again to death.
Yeah.
So you go through 2 trials. You're found guilty.
Yeah.
You're sentenced to death twice.
Well,
second time you're like, man, I already been through this.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be.
He'd already been
surprised.
He'd already been in prison for like 10 years. But you think, Gibbs, there's that chance, right? There's that hope. I'm getting out, man. Yeah. I've been in here 10 years, whether he did this thing or not. I mean, to be honest with you, in the end, I don't know. None of it looks good. It all makes him look like he's guilty.
Right.
Another interesting tidbit was that, so the trial didn't happen until 2012. He died in 2012.
Yeah.
Not long after the trial. He was sitting on death row. He died of natural causes. He was only 64 years old.
Yeah, he saved us a little bit of money.
A little bit.
A little bit.
So, but that's it. That's it for our 13th. Did I even say what number this? I don't think I did. Did I?
I think you did.
I think this is number 13.
You want to rewind it and listen to it? I don't think you do.
No, I don't. Because it's been a while. But
yeah.
That's it. That's it for David Anthony. I just thought it was an interesting case, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not one that is very well publicized.
Right.
And number two, I thought it had some strange twists and turns and, legal wranglings and things like that. It's a different type of case because normally you and I like to go way deeper into perpetrator and victim if we can.
Right. The history.
It just wasn't there.
No.
It wasn't there.
The most impressive thing about tonight is that you didn't wear these the whole time. He didn't wear them.
And you wore them the whole time.
Yeah.
And not once did you ever need them. There was no voicemails.
No.
There's no clips.
No.
And you literally can hear what I'm saying worse with the headphones on.
I can read lips. I got music playing in here. This is great, man. It's good stuff. Yeah.
You got funny things to say. Actually, what people don't know is we have a comedian.
Yes.
That I have hired.
Yeah.
Who is sitting off camera.
Right over there.
And inside those earphones is a smaller ear plug.
Exactly.
And he is telling you what to say in real time. All right, man. How do we sign this off?
Well, it's Patreon. So you just say, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We really appreciate everyone. And I'll just say, stay safe and keep your own time ticking.
There you go.
And obviously we'll do this again next month, unless everybody says, "Oh, we don't like that. We don't want that.
We don't want to see you guys on camera."
No,
you can't really
too
look
much
because it's a really bright light.
It's a very bright light.
So last time I had that, there was questioning involved, and it brings me back to my.
You keep looking at it though.
Well,
it's like telling somebody not to look at the sun.
Yeah.
But you keep doing it.
But I like all the little floaty things now that are over your head that I see. So.
All right, everyone. We will talk to you later. Oh, look out for the new episodes. That's what we forgot. We
Yeah.
forgot to tell everybody what the new episodes are, but they'll be out tomorrow night.
Yeah.
They're good.
Check them out.
Check them out. All right. Bye.
See ya.